Hiya, kids! Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
وعليكم السلام وعليكم السلام.
How are you all?
Fine, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Fine, alhamdulillah. Fine, alhamdulillah.
Today, as we all know, Aisha Umar is going to present the story of Nuh alayhi salam, inshallah. So
Okay.
first I'm going to do the recap. Just give me a second. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah. There was a prophet called Isa alayhi salam. He was born with a single mother, meaning without a father, which was the first miracle in his life. Then, when he was in his mother's lap, he started speaking and he told the people that he was a worshipper of Allah Azza wa Jal. That was another miracle. After that, he grew up and told everyone to believe in Allah only. Some people wanted to kill him, so he asked his people that whoever can be a sacrifice instead of me, he will be a companion with me in Jannah. So one of them agreed, and then the people who wanted to kill Isa alayhi salam killed him. After that, Allah took Isa alayhi salam into the sky, so we know that he's not dead and that he will come back in the day of judgment and fight with the Dajjal. Isa alayhi salam had the power to cure people of any illness. He could bring people back to life, and he could also make clay birds become alive, all with the help of Allah. And he could also bring sight back to the blind with the will of Allah Azza wa Jal. So Thwaiba also shared a fact that Isa alayhi salam is mentioned in the Quran 25 times, and Maryam is mentioned in the Quran 31 times. So the lessons were, so Thwaiba said, Allah can do anything, like he made Maryam radiallahu anha give birth to Isa alayhi salam without a father. I said, nothing is difficult for Allah Azza wa Jal, like he made Maryam give birth to Isa alayhi salam without a father, and like he made Isa alayhi salam talk when he was a baby. Taiba said, you should always listen to your parents like Maryam radiallahu anha, for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, like her parents left her in a monastery and she happily worshipped Allah over there. Aisha said, nothing is impossible for Allah Azza wa Jal, and you should always tell the truth like Isa alayhi salam. Isa alayhi salam always told the truth. Yazisha said, Allah doesn't need anything that we need. He just says kun and it happens. Hania said, nothing is difficult for Allah and your prayers are always answered. Shahira said, the story of Isa alayhi salam teaches us about courage and faith. He gives respect to every living being and never disobeyed Allah Azza wa Jal and always allowed him to perform miracles. So yeah. Maisha Wasim, you weren't here in our previous classes. Can you introduce yourself?
Yes. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Maisha Wasim and I am 13 years old.
What are your hobbies?
My hobbies are painting and reading books.
Nice, mashallah. Okay, so Aisha Omar, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Can you present your story?
Yes, okay.
Good luck.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Yes. So I'm doing the story of Prophet Noah alayhi salam. So long time ago, Allah sent another messenger to earth. His name was Prophet Noah alayhi salam. So when Prophet Noah alayhi salam grew up, he started preaching the people to worship Allah. he tried and tried and tried, but the people didn't listen to him. Even sometimes they used to throw rocks at him and hit him and beat him up, but he didn't give up. So he preached over about 950 years. So then one day Allah spoke to him while he was praying, and he said that I'll punish everybody who didn't listen to you, and they will be punished very badly. So he told Prophet Noah to plant trees, as many as he can. And then Prophet Noah didn't know, like he didn't know why. He was confused. So he planted trees, and when he was preaching with people too, a bit of the people also like listened to him. So he had a little bit of Muslims to help with him. So when he was planting the trees, he asked the Muslims to help him, and they planted trees for over 100 years, about 100 years. So after many years, Allah spoke to the Prophet again. He said that this time you have to, he asked the Prophet to build a ship, an ark. But the Prophet was still confused, but didn't ask Allah why. So he and his fellow Muslims started building a ship. And the non-worshippers like used to laugh at them and like say, he's such a fool, and what are you even doing? So why would you need a ship? How will you even get into the sea? But the Prophet ignored them. He continued building. He built from the trees that he planted many years ago. And so after many months, he completed the ship. And Allah, then he spoke to Allah again, that Allah said that he will flood everybody when he'll punish them. So when he sees water coming from his oven at his house, he has to board the ship with all the animals, and bring all the animals and him and his fellow Muslims. So one by one, animals started to come pair by pair. There were many kinds of animals: birds, lions, tigers, elephants, and every kind of animal in a pair. One was female and one was a male. So one day, the water came from the Prophet's oven in his house, and his wife then she saw it, and then she went and told the Prophet about it, and then the Prophet knew that immediately he had to board the ship. And the ship had 3 sections. One was for birds, the second one was for humans, and the third one was for the other animals. So the Prophet asked all his Muslims and like his Muslims and his wives and sons to board the ship, but one of his wife and one of his sons didn't go with him. They weren't his followers, so they just stayed behind. So his Muslims and the animals quickly started to board the ship. And then it was also raining at that time, so the water was starting to rise, and they boarded the ship quickly and closed the door behind them. So it was raining and raining, and all the non-worshippers were climbing mountains to save themselves and just running away and stuff. And the water was kept rising and rising, and the rain was not stopping. So the Prophet saw from the window, one of the windows from the ship, that his wife and his son were climbing a mountain, and they reached the top, and they were just standing there. and the water was almost as high as the mountain, and like all of the other non-worshippers were also like climbing mountains and stuff, but then the water also reached until the mountains, and all of them drowned. So the Prophet said, Bismillah, and the ship started to move. So the ship moved and sailed, and until then the rain stopped and the whole world was covered in water. There was no sign of land anywhere. So the ship sailed for about 150 days, more than that actually, and nobody knows the exact days, but it's sailed in more than 150 days. So the Prophet, he first sent a crow for search of land, but the crow never came back. But then he sent a dove, and then a dove came back a few days later with a branch of an olive tree. So everybody was really happy, and they thanked God. So then the ship was sailing, and then it stopped. It landed on a mountain, and the Prophet said Bismillah, and the ship stopped. So after that, the animals first went like out of the ship, and then the people, and the first thing the Prophet did was to pray for Allah, that thank you for like helping us, and yeah, that, and went then that was it.
Okay, mashallah. So the ayats?
Yes, so the ayats I found in the surah, Surah Nuh. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يرسل السماء عليكم مدرارا. So this is when the Prophet was telling the people that Allah will punish you and He will shower you with abundant rain. The other one was مَمَّا خَطِيئَتِهِمْ أَغْرِقُوا فَأُدْخِلُوا نَارًا فَلَمْ يَجِدُوا لَهُم مِّن دُونِ اللَّهِ أَنصَارًا. So because of the non-worshippers' sins, they were drowned and then admitted into the fire, and they then found none to help them against Allah. So the message I get from the story is that the story of Prophet Nuh alayhi salam teaches us the lesson of patience and consistency. He told his people the message for Islam for about 950 years. He kept his hope on his people and kept his faith in Allah. So as you can see, he has a lot of patience. He told them the message for Islam for about 950 years. And he also kept his hope in Allah. So how can we apply this in our daily lives? We all have to always be patient and hopeful. Nowadays, people are very impatient and hopeless. They always want to have results immediately. Like people nowadays always are like really impatient and hopeless. They always want to have results immediately. You should always be like Prophet Noah. You should be patient and hope. Thank you.
Mashallah, Faiba. Mashallah, Aisha, sorry. Very nice. Well done. Yes,
Thank
Faiba, do
you.
you have a question? Faiba. Faiba? Okay. So now I'm gonna take the lessons. So my lesson was that the lesson I got from this story is that never lose hope and patience. Like Nuh alayhi salam, he told his people about Allah for about 950 years and he never gave up. So it's like the same. as Aisha. Okay, so Taiba.
My lesson was we should always do good deeds and avoid bad deeds. we cannot hide from Allah even if we go on the mountain or hide behind the door. Allah can find us and see us everywhere.
MashaAllah, that's true. Taiba.
Even though the people stoned Nuh alayhi salam, he still continued to preach to his people as to follow Allah's command. And how can you apply this in daily life is don't lose hope in Allah, especially when you are doing something correct and for Allah's sake, as Allah is always by your side.
Yeah, true. MashaAllah. Yazisha.
So, this story tells us that if we disobey Allah, Allah could destroy us. And if we obey Him, He will save us. We need to trust Him with patience.
Yeah, true. MashaAllah, very nice. Maida Nasser.
I have 2 points from this story.
Okay, nice.
We should always listen to Allah's command. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded Nuh alayhi salam to build an ark with very few Muslims. They followed his instruction, which ended up helping them to survive from the disaster. We should ask for Allah's guidance. When you feel empty inside or you are stuck on something, especially ask for Allah's help, just like Nuh alayhi salam did when he couldn't convince his people any longer.
MashaAllah, very nice. Thank you. Maisha, do you have any messages from the story? Story of Noah?
Yes, in this story, I learned that there's only one true God, and He we should always obey Him because He can do anything. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, nice, MashaAllah. Hania, come on.
Assalamu alaikum. I got 2 lessons from the story. One is that you should always trust and have faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like if you are doing something right and you're doing what Allah told you to do, you shouldn't fear what other people think and you should continue. And the second one, you should always be patient. Like Nuh alayhi salam, he continued preaching for 950 years until he got like a message from Allah that you have to go build an ark. So
Yeah, MashaAllah, very true. Shahira, do you have any message?
Story teaches us the importance of patience, perseverance, obedience to Allah, and avoiding sin. He preached despite opposition, obeyed Allah's command to build an ark, and saved his followers from the flood. His people's disobedience led to their destruction, reminding us to live righteously.
MashaAllah, very nice. Anyone else? Yes, Maida, do you have a question?
No, sorry, I forgot to unraise my hand.
So yeah, thank you, Aisha. And so our next session is going to be on Wednesday, and Taiba, inshallah, you're going to do the story of Yusuf. Hope it's easy. So yeah, thank you so much for joining. Inshallah, I'm going to see you on Wednesday. Assalamu.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu, have a nice day.
Bye.